This program has been paid for by Strather Academy, creating developers within our communities.
Hello everyone, this is Wealth and Development with Herb Strather, and we have one heck of a show today. We got my main man, George Etheridge, and George is a city planner. Welcome, George.
Thank you very much, Herb.
Before we get started, George, I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
George, are you a Detroiter?
Absolutely. Born, raised, educated right here in the city of Detroit.
So you're a blue-blooded Detroiter?
Absolutely.
Well, that's very, very important. What school you go to? What high school?
I graduated from the Detroit High School for the Fine and Performing Arts, class of 2000.
Really? That was like the first class almost?
Well, 96 was the first class.
Right.
2000 was the fourth class.
So I see, well, that is something you graduated this century.
Absolutely.
Well, you're not a millennium, are you? You are you're right in the middle?
I'm right there at the beginning of what they refer to as millennials.
Millennials, yes. Oh my God. We have a millennial on. You know, you all are a very, very exciting generation, and you're bringing a lot of energy to our city, and indeed, as we look at the future, we see it's going to be a very, very exciting future, partially because of the energy that you guys are bringing.
Absolutely. You know, we are very inventive, we are very passionate, we are very entrepreneurial in spirit, and, you know, we have a wonderful example ahead of us of the right way to do things.
All right. George, I'm sure you're east side or west side, by the way?
I'm a west sider.
What part?
Northwest Detroit. I was born and raised in College Park, which is right in McNichols between Greenfield and Southfield.
Right.
I'm currently the Neighborhood Association president for the Castle Rouge Civic Association.
Where is that?
Which is right at 96 and Telegraph.
96 is Telegraph.
So
okay.
you're a real estate man. So think of it in terms of a bedroom community. You know,
oh, yeah.
We've got 835 households. We got a school, we've got 3 churches.
And you butt right up to Redford, of course.
Absolutely, we're right at the Detroit-Redford border, so we're right south of the 96 Expressway and just north of Detroit Diesel.
Well, you know, that's a great place to be, and we have a lot of real estate, and I think that's a great community right there, right there. I'm glad you're there. You're a Northwest Detroit man. Well, I tell you what, everybody, we fixed to have a very, very great show, and I just want you to call all of your friends, get you some water, get everything ready, because we're going to come back to you. George, by the way, so everybody know, you are the city planner for the city of Detroit.
I am a city planner for the city of Detroit.
A city planner for the city of Detroit. And your main mission, if you could tell me what your main mission is?
Absolutely. So I deal with land use, zoning, and economic development. So all land sales and transactions which come before the city council, our offices review. For any text amendments to allow different land uses, our offices review and implement those processes. For map amendments, for economic development and community engagement, we're your
George, I want to tell you something. You're just the man I want to talk to. And I got some tough questions for you that you don't know about yet. But hang on in, everyone. Call all of your friends. Get some pop and juice and everything else out. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced House Hunter. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Hello, everybody. I'm back. Herb Strather, Wealth and Development. This is my main man, George Etheridge, and George is a city planner. And George, one of your responsibilities is neighborhoods, right?
Absolutely.
Zoning and strategy, I would assume, from the city council's point of view, right?
Certainly. Absolutely.
Well, you know, there's $35 million floating around out there for our neighborhood development. That seemed to be the hottest thing going on. Can you tell me, do you have any background on that you could share with us?
Absolutely. So through the philanthropic community as well as the business community, there were approximately 7 organizations that are based here in the city of Detroit, each of which put up $5 million. So we've got $35 million, which is being shared with 7 neighborhoods.
Yes.
So that's approximately $7 million per neighborhood. And
So it's really the 7 districts. Is that it? Or no, it's not.
Not just the districts,
Okay.
but specific neighborhoods.
Okay.
So again, we're looking at building density within our communities, because no entity, no city, no municipality can survive without a vibrant tax base.
There's no question.
So what we're looking to do is, make you want to stay in your home. We
Okay.
want you to be proud of and invest in your community. Part of those dollars are going towards revitalizing commercial corridors, doing parks, doing streetscapes, making the neighborhoods more beautiful and desirable so people want to live there and people want to invest.
Did the city council have any input in this?
The city council will have input moving forward, particularly as it relates to things that are envisioned. A lot of this is going towards neighborhood planning, and those plans and those consultant fees, all of that needs to be approved by council. If you're looking at street or alley vacations to have pedestrian walkways or whatnot, that's going to have to come to council for the closures of those streets or alleys. If you're looking to consolidate parcels and rezone it for a pocket park or something of that nature.
Those types of matters come to the city council for approval, right?
Absolutely.
So is this a hard and fast boundaries, or is there some fungibility there?
Well, specific neighborhoods were called out.
Yes, I mean the neighborhoods were called out, but how about the street next to it, or street 2 streets down from it, for an example?
Well, that would be a question for the administration.
A question for the administration. Well, because here's what my concern is, and I can mention it because, as you know, Strather Academy, we are activists, we're advocates, and we're creating the next generation of developers. And the question we have into our class now is, what is the best practices for us to have what we would like to have called a melting pot in our community? And some of us are concerned that the boundaries that are set may be areas specifically where white people may really like to move. Let's give some examples. Let's talk about Russell Woods. Okay. So Russell Woods is targeted, but it ends at Dexter. So my question is, wouldn't it be a better idea to take that to Linwood so we incorporate both communities and not have an isolation? Or let's take another example, even more startling. Let's take Northwest Detroit example. It goes down and it cuts off on the street where Grandmont Sub number 2 ends. Right there. The next street, it cuts off. Well, I mean, it'd be great to extend that from Ashbury Park all the way to Greenfield, and from Grand River to Schoolcraft. So we advocate for an extension to make it a melting pot. Ultimately, don't we want the same thing? Because it appears like if someone would look at it, the strategy is wherever white people is moving, we're going to take and improve that neighborhood. And some of us, it doesn't sit very well with us because we want the whole thing developed. We're not against white people, don't get me wrong. Because as you know, the millennials like yourself and white people moving in who their grandparents lived here, not their parents, because during the '67 riot, they moved out. The parents were little, they moved out. But now these are the children of the parents, and they say, which way is Detroit? They're coming back, they've taken our most difficult areas, and look what they've done. Take Cass Corridor. You know, you wouldn't want to run out of gas in Cass Corridor 4 years ago, you know what I mean?
Right.
And look at the prices that went up 1,000%. What cost $25,000 down there now is now worth $250,000 to $500,000. So we're very, very excited about all of the excitement. The thing that we are concerned is that our future development so that it ends up being a melting pot.
Well, there are plenty of economic opportunities that do exist. It's just the thing is people don't know about them. And that's why I truly appreciate venues such as yours where we can educate the public on what's available. Back in the early 2000s, there was an initiative by then Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, which enabled neighborhoods or those residing in residential neighborhoods to invest $500 in their residential property, and they were able to have a 15-year tax abatement that's known as neighborhood enterprise zones.
Right.
So you as a real estate developer, you know that that's a valuable tool when it comes to selling and occupying properties and keeping people in those homes. Those maps have not virtually changed for homestead neighborhood enterprise zones since that time. One initiative that the Detroit City Council is exploring is redrawing those maps. So looking at other neighborhoods which can benefit from the increase in density and those tax revenues by having new residents move in. So that's one thing. And then if you look at our commercial corridors, you know, we have over 60 miles of commercial corridors within the city of Detroit, and a vast majority of that is vacant and fallow. So there are tools that the state has given us that we can utilize. You hear about commercial rehabilitation districts or industrial development districts or obsolete property rehabilitation districts. That's not just available for downtown. That's available in any of our commercial corridors or industrial corridors within the city of Detroit.
Okay.
So anybody that's sitting on these properties that have been sitting on for years and
Right.
they're trying to figure out what to do with it,
Right.
these are tools that are available to, one, have capital investment in your property, and then you receive a tax abatement on the end.
Okay. Okay, I tell you what I want to do. I want to get into like opportunity zones, and I like to talk a little bit more about the targeted neighborhoods and some of the unique things and how Detroiters can get involved and what should Detroiters be doing to get involved. But we're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to be right back. To give us 2 minutes, we come right back while I work on my man here.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family. The first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Testing. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
So this is Herb Strather again, Wealth and Development. Welcome back to our show. I have George Etheridge here. George is a city planner, and we're talking about the investments into Detroit, its impact, and we want to dive into citizen participation. But right before I get to that, George, we have opportunity zones in the city.
Absolutely. So opportunity zones are specific geographic boundaries in which investment is being focused.
Right.
For, you know, again, building density, economic development opportunities.
Right.
There are some areas which unfortunately are not included within those boundaries, but there are opportunities, other opportunities that are being made available. Right now, there's an initiative that's being rolled out by the Detroit City Planning Commission. So again, I'm a city planner for the Detroit City Planning Commission on the legislative side of things.
Okay, tell us about it.
In 2018, the City Council, they approved a contract for a consultant through Code Studios out of Texas. And what they're doing is they're helping us streamline our zoning ordinance. And our zoning ordinance is the document, in addition to the master plan, which, you know, the master plan is maintained by the Planning and Development Department. The zoning ordinance is maintained by the Detroit City Planning Commission and the council. We have an opportunity for residents and business owners to come together and voice their vision for what they want the city of Detroit to look like, what you want your neighborhoods to look like, what you want to be allowed in your neighborhood, adjacent to you, in your commercial corridors. And residents of Detroit have an opportunity right now to participate.
Is that period all over the entire city?
Oh, absolutely. It's completely citywide. So outside of opportunity zones, outside of tax abatement districts, you know, if you were to go to zonedetroit.com.
Zonedetroit.com.
That's zonedetroit.com. You can receive information on when meetings are held. You can put in your input.
Is this active right now?
This is active right now.
All right, Detroiters, you understand what we're doing. We're going through the time of our lives right now. What happened right now will determine the future of our city far into the future. And it is very important that we get involved because the sun, the moon, and the stars have lined up and there are dramatic changes. And those changes will have been done a year from now. And then it will impact the city for 100 years. George?
Absolutely. You know, we were, the last major initiative for community engagement which the city of Detroit undertook was for Detroit Future Cities.
Oh, yes.
You know, and that was similar to what we did back in 2008 and 2009 when we last updated the master plan of policies.
Okay.
And it was thought of at the time as Detroit Future Cities serving as the new master plan for the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
However, there's been some, you know, a different line of thinking in that regard. So now we're hoping that the Planning and Development Department will begin to initiate the community engagement process for the updated master plan. They've been updating as they've been going along.
Will future cities still be a part of this?
That I can't speak to.
I mean, I hope so too, because they've done a good job, and everybody should be working together, of course.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, I'm an advocate for more citizen involvement, and for the council, I would think that the council should have more direct input in making some of the determinations, because quite truthfully, George, I know you're saying that the council did not maybe make the decisions, but a lot of people is wondering, you know, why is it that like downtown maybe gets into the opportunity zone, but yet a place like the Mammoth Building on Grand River in Greenfield, which some would argue is, you know, like in terms of it has the second highest traffic count in the city. It's probably the worst looking commercial building in the city that needs the most help. It was directly attached and across the street from the mayor's neighborhood headquarters or neighborhood campaign office, and it's not in the opportunity zone at all. The opportunity zone starts at 96. Everybody said, well, what's the deal on 96 in Greenfield? Why didn't it get to Grand River in Greenfield where all the businesses are at? We don't understand that. I guess you may not be able to answer that yourself.
I can't answer that on behalf of the administration,
Okay.
but just as a planner, looking at it holistically,
Okay.
Traditionally, industrial development happens along rail lines. What do you have along
Okay.
96?
Okay.
You have your rail lines.
Okay.
You have the vast majority of industry and industrial development
Along the rail lines.
At Greenfield and 96.
Right.
Look at the homes that are within
Okay.
the city of Detroit. The vast majority of our homes are brick homes. Did you know that the entrepreneur that brought red brick to the city of Detroit had his location right there on Greenfield, just north of 96?
No, I didn't.
Absolutely. Back in the early 1900s.
Really?
Ended up building a huge, beautiful home in Palmer Woods.
And he's one brought bricks to the city.
He's the ones that brought bricks to the city of Detroit.
Was he famous?
He was not he was famous at the time, but not well known now.
Okay. Well, you know, we are very much concerned, as you know, the Grand River, and I won't beat up on this because I am a principal in the Mammoth Building, and I am involved in redeveloping it. We got some really hot things, and we're very excited. As you know, we just brought in the Tower Center. We just brought in Foreman Mills.
Absolutely.
And we're very, very excited about that. And now our next move is Tower Center. And we noticed the $35 million came all the way down Grand River, but it stopped. It stopped the block before the Mammoth Building.
Now, in regards to that, there is a study plan that is currently being worked out for that Grand River corridor. And the meetings that I've attended, it has, you know, the Mammoth Building included as a part of those community discussions.
You mean a part of the $35 million?
I don't know if it's a part of the $35 million, but there is a Northwest Detroit Grand River study plan.
Well, I certainly hope that we can get there. George, we're going to come back, and I'd like to talk and get into what you personally plan to do. You got energy here. You're a Detroiter, you know, and let's have a little discussion. Give us a couple of minutes and come back as we're going to do a wrap up. We're going to have a great discussion. This is really, we got it going on, you all.
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. Show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice, so everyone knows exactly what to do. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family.
Testing. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
All right, everybody, this is Herb Strather, Wealth and Development, George Etheridge, and he is a city planner involved in neighborhoods. And as you know, Strather Academy and myself, I'm an advocate for Detroit neighborhoods. We're not so much in downtown Detroit and Midtown, so to speak, but we're in Detroit neighborhoods, and we want to advocate there, and we want the good life to come out to our neighborhoods, and we're interested in the very best practices. So what we've done, George, we are doing, developing the developer block by block, block by block. We believe that the very best thing is to get the community involved, the citizens involved, and to not do one house on a block, but to do every house on that block. So one of the things that we're doing is having a seminar, conference on the 24th and 25th, John, is that the right date? Absolutely. May 24th and 25th. And those of you who are listening who would like to register, we ask that you would get a hold of Strather Academy and leave a note that you'd like to join us for that. We're talking about the developers or those who are interested in becoming involved. Because we want to take the area from Greenfield to Ashbury Park, from Grand River to Schoolcraft, and we want to extend it. We know that the 35 million stop right there, but we want to start right there and extend it to Greenfield. And we're going to have we're looking for 35 or 40 developers to do the houses. There's about 90 houses that can be identified as vacant, needing serious improvement right in that area, because we haven't given up on our community in that sense. We want to reinvest where we live at in our community, and we want to tighten up our community. We want to do that area. We want to impact the area between Dexter and Linwood. We think it's hot. 48206 to us is like the hottest area there is, and we want to extend that to create opportunities for people, all people, white people too, to live between Dexter and Linwood. I am sure that they would move there, but if we only put the money in Rosedale, in Russell Woods, that would send the kind of wrong signal. One other area we are wanting to develop is Morang Street, the 10,000 to 1,200 block, because we've got to do an east side location, and we want to redevelop that street along with one other street that we want to get into. I can't quite mention that street right now, but for those who are interested, we want to get you engaged. We want to get you engaged with the things that George is talking about. Go register right now for Zone Detroit. Get involved. Let the administration know what our concerns are. Let the administration know that we want a melting pot. The phone number is 313-224-3400 for the administration. George, first of all, man, I really appreciate you joining the show because we're colleagues. In other words, you're armed with the city council, and there have some people from the administration truthfully have reached out to Herb. We want to help join you. As a matter of fact, on our developing developer is Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. It's going to be Chemical Bank. I believe the Land Bank is joining us. We certainly need the Land Bank to join us. And we got Mason 105, and we got Detroit Association of Realtors. All it needs is you. Now, talking about that, how about you, my man? Tell me about what your future is. I mean, you've been with the city how long, and what do you imagine you're going to be doing 5 years from now? Or as far as that's concerned, 2 years from now?
Well, I've been with the city of Detroit for 14 years.
Already?
Yeah.
You're that old?
Don't look it, but I came in under Barbara Rose Collins.
Okay.
Yeah, I was her community liaison and then ultimately her policy director for planning and economic development. So
that's great.
Planning and economic development is what I've been doing. That's been my focus as a land use specialist, as a city planner, really dealing with land use strategies.
I like that.
I'm currently a neighborhood association president, again, the Castle Rouge Civic Association,
I love it.
96 and Telegraph. One thing that I'm doing that you might think is quite special, given the vacancy that we have of the schools within our neighborhood, we've been able to attract a new school which currently has 1,500 students that are signed up and ready to enroll.
Where?
This is right in our Castle Rouge community.
That is amazing.
Yeah, the former Healy International School. We've got somebody that's lined up, so that should be a big announcement coming.
Oh, that's huge.
They're having conversations right now with the Detroit Building Authority to try to close on that property.
I would love to extend an invitation for you to come to our class free. As a matter of fact, the first 6 city officials who's involved in community development, there's an invitation to the good life for you to join us. I like that. Now, that's good. So what you're saying that you're going to be doing is these other initiatives. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And, I've always been big on economic development and community investment.
Okay.
You indicated, or asked rather, what I would be doing 2 years from now. And 2 years from now is 2020.
Yeah.
It's the presidential election.
Yes.
I'm not running for president.
Oh.
But, but I'll tell you, I will be running for state representative for the 8th district. Yes, sir.
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir. So this will be my second time running, and it will be an open race. And yes, sir.
Yes. Well, that is great, Julia. You're going to be running for the what district?
The 8th district.
The 8th district.
Yes,
you're going to be running.
Yes,
for
sir.
State rep.
So that's Telegraph to Greenfield, 7 Mile, and 96.
Well, I got a lot of real estate around there. There's certainly Northwest Detroit. Everyone would like to take and give our guest today a big thank you. We would like for you to get involved. Remember, his name is George Etheridge.
Yes, sir.
George, how do they contact you? Anybody want to get involved in your campaign or help you?
Oh, absolutely. If you want to get involved in my campaign, you can call me directly at 313-590-5044 or go to my website, which is www.georgeforstaterep.com. That's George, the number 4, staterep.com. If you're interested in getting more involved with Zone Detroit or any planning initiatives with the Detroit City Council, please feel free to call the Detroit City Planning Commission at 313-224-6225. That's 313-224-6225.
That's great. And if you want to get involved in community development, contact Strather Academy. Those of you listening right now, I tell you what, call me directly on my phone right now, 313-407-4930. John, you told me not to give out my cell number.
Don't do it.
But I'll see if they got the guts. I want to see who's wants to get involved. Call me right now. I got my phone available. Thank you very much, George, my man. Thank you.
This program has been paid for by Strather Academy, creating developers within our communities.